So yesterday we saw a growing ecosystem of leading edge tools that are mind-blowing. They are really promising the future. We're also seeing the incumbents really switching gears and actually leveling up how they're approaching their future stack, but also how they are talking about their engagement with the industry. And then just now, we've seen that data is very much coming into the forefront of people's minds, and that is incredibly positive because it means that we as an industry can really push forward. The technology is catching up, which is really great, but actually how do we as practices start to prepare? And this is where I hand over to Hank next, who's going to talk about this program that we as Grimshaw are incredibly delighted to be part of as an industry partner, focusing on how practice can change to adopt future technologies.
We have an increasing landscape of new software packages, and they're growingly by the number. Alistair and I have spoken, I think it's only 2-3 years ago, where there was 200 and 400 and 800 and then 1,600 now. It's getting harder and harder to understand what you could do. So there's really a transition challenge of the AEC firms to say what to select, and I think ADDD.io is helping with that, but also there's a transition to applying these things. So I need to sit there at some stage and think about what I want to use as an architecture flow. And observing from a research perspective all these kind of developments, a lot of thinking and thoughts are based on, well, my product will do architecture later. You know, I can do better architecture, I could simulate things better, I could visualize things better. But I think one important factor is overlooked in my understanding, and that's why we put our research on, is the transition training towards the architect, the individual in the firm, and the transition and transformation strategy of the business. Somebody in the business have to make a decision, I'm going to use your software now. And it's a financial commitment and has a lot of other implementations at the end as well. So what we do in our research, we focus on management. We focus on the business of architecture and research on training, how we can train the profession, research and strategy. What is an architecture office in the 21st century? Quite clearly, it cannot be the same in the 20th century. And the development of training. And I'm going to hand over to Ivana.
Important to note that we're quite large, so we've got just under 30 PhD and Masters of Philosophy students working on projects with our industry partners, which you can see here on the screen. So we've got architecture and engineering firms partnered, but also peak bodies, so professional bodies that are responsible for accreditation of degrees, registration of architects, awarding of exemplar projects, and distribution of templates and resources. And we also have international academic partners. Now, the key thing about the PhD and the master's projects in this scheme is that they were derived from something like 37 hours of focus group sessions with our industry partners. So really derived from an understanding of what are the current challenges faced in industry and how can we develop research to try and tackle those problems.